sing the song, and I just get goosebumps when I'm seeing it. Like I'm just like, this is fucking cool. Like this is probably how it happens when people come up with like songs.
I think so. Yeah.
Like the skinny white guy from Road Trip.
I watched a video the other day of Jay-Z hearing the "If You Feeling Like a Pimp" that song.
Yeah.
Like hearing the music for the first time, and like his reaction to like hearing it for the very first time. It was cool.
Was he like?
No. He's
No,
like,
he was more probably like this.
no, he's like, "This one's for you, dude." Whatever the fuck he says, I don't know.
Since I turned the compression on this, I'm going to turn our mics up a little bit. So tell me if it's too loud.
Mic check. I don't know. Yeah, a little loud.
So then we'll turn this. Oh, you're right here.
2 turntables and a microphone.
There we go. Right there.
I haven't even had any coffee, and I'm
You're ready to go.
feeling good.
Me too.
You know how you, after you're sick, you're like, I'll just talk about it on the thing. So I was at the.
I didn't. Oh, we are on Facebook Live right now, aren't we? Okay, I'll save this. I'll save this for later.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna start recording.
Do you want me to just do the order of this? However,
You can we can just do it naturally. If if something comes up on there, then just go with the flow.
If I don't direct me directing, or you direct me directing.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna start recording, and then I'll do the intro. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Juice in the Morning. I'm your host, Justin Juice Kelly. We are back in the Juice Box. Thank you for watching on Facebook Live, if you are. I really appreciate it. This show, I was actually just looking at like a bunch of past episodes, and I've done a lot more than I thought I did. And having you has been awesome. I appreciate you being here, Shane. How are you doing today?
I appreciate that you appreciate me, and I like being on this show.
I was actually surprised. Like I was like going back, and there's been more times that I've had other people on the show, like as guests, than I actually remembered having them on, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
And like I'm starting to get to the point where everything's kind of running together. So like I'm not really sure when certain things happened or certain things started.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to tell people when I came to start doing this because I don't know. So I just tell people like, yeah, he did like a lot by himself, and it's just weird to explain.
Yeah, I think you've been on for what is it? At least 20 or 30 episodes, maybe more than that.
So how many?
Because I think you came in. I think you came in on like 60 or 70, and now we're at like 106.
Nice.
So
damn,
it's crazy. It's
crazy.
It's something that I started, and then also I want to thank everybody that came out and downloaded the shit out of the podcast yesterday. I woke up and we were at a certain number of downloads, and I wanted to get to a specific number to break my, or our record for total downloads in a month. And, we crushed it. Like it went from, I think we had yesterday alone, there was like almost 1,000 downloads yesterday alone.
That's crazy.
In one day.
That's crazy.
And so I just want to appreciate everybody that, came out of the woodworks and started downloading. And then I also got Jen's phone and downloaded every episode because she clearly doesn't download or listen.
Well, there you go. Whatever we got to do.
Yeah.
Whatever we got to do.
So that was kind of cheating the game, but that was only like 20 downloads right there.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll take it. So first up on the menu of things we need to talk about today.
This is a good one.
I think maybe many of you might have seen this floating around the internet, but Disney and Pixar have a bracket out that my man here sent me, and he filled out the complete bracket.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought to myself, I won't be filling that out. I'll just be kind of commenting and chiming in while we do these picks. But we're just going to kind of briefly go over the entire bracket.
If I had, I was going to have a pen, and we could maybe do one like what you're saying, like actually, and see if it's any different based on our.
Oh, it'll be extremely different. I can already tell by the small conversation that we've had downstairs about it. But we can just kind of go through these first big ones really fast, and then kind of talk about the big hitters.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where we agree. So First up on the right side is going to be Up and Brave, and there was already some controversy with that.
I had in the bracket that I filled out, I had Brave over Up because in my mind, I'm more entertained by the Brave movie than I am Up. There are funny moments of Up, but I don't know. I give the nod to Brave, and I think it was a very controversial pick.
That's actually one of the better ones that they put up against each other because some of these are just like there's no contest.
Yeah.
It's just like.
And I hate how they put Toy Story against Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3 because just
but they may have done that because a lot of people say Toy Story 2 is better than the first one, but then there's people out there that are like Toy Story 1 is like, that really resonated with me and when it came out because that was the first one and it was such a good movie. Because with the first one, you're like, wow, whoever thought of this is a great idea, awesome. And then the second one, you have to like outdo the first one. But
very rarely does it come. Does that happen?
So I actually think that's a good, especially better than some of these other ones.
Right.
They're just like
and then Toy Story versus for me, Toy Story rankings go 1, 3, 2 because I think 3 is better than 2, but I don't think it's better than the first one.
I think it's 1, 2, 3.
Really?
Yeah.
You think they got better as they went on?
I'm probably one of the only ones that feel that way. But so we got Coco, which I don't know if a lot of people have seen that. If you don't have a kid and you're our age, you're kind of weird. I don't know. You're
I've
not
seen
weird.
it.
I was gonna say you're not weird.
and we watch all the Disney movies.
Because what I realized about myself is now that I do have a kid, that I actually like these movies. I just would have never watched them because I didn't if I didn't have a kid.
Right.
So now that I'm glad I found that out about myself because now I'm up watching they rented Ferdinand the other day, which is
I still want to see that.
And they rented it and watched it, and I came home from work and watched it by myself because me and my
you can talk about it.
we can be like, man, you see that part where it's like. But okay, so we got that Coco and Cars 2, which I think is
Cars.
ridiculous.
It's a terrible matchup. I mean, Cars 2. I think Cars 2 is terrible.
I don't
was not
think
a fan.
Cars in general is all that great.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good movie. The first one was decent, but Coco blows it out of the water.
Right.
Toy Story 3 and The Good Dinosaur.
That was a tough spot for me.
Not me. Good Dinosaur.
I like
all the
Good
way.
Dinosaur a lot.
It's a real pulls on the old heartstrings. So
Parents die like in every Disney movie.
Yeah, which man, what's all these orphan dinosaurs and
deer?
Yeah,
Bambi's not even on there. Well, we'll get to that later. Like we'll get to the people that were left off the list.
Okay, so there's like classic Disney movies like Bambi, Snow White, all of those really old ones, and then these are just ones that are from like
these look like 90s and on,
like millennial.
a millennial put this damn bracket together.
I'm gonna go. There's some hipster drinking a PBR that put this together. Ratatouille. I'm probably not even saying that right because I don't give a shit about this movie. I don't give a shit about this movie. I'm in your hat and I'm teaching you how to cook.
How does that even work? Like he's controlling him by his hair.
Yeah, whoa. A Bug's Life.
Bug's Life I do like.
Yeah, so Bug's Life for sure beats Ratatouille. Finding Nemo. This man across from me loves himself some Finding Nemo.
They take the championship, I believe.
Inside Out. Have not seen it.
It's awesome.
I can't really say
that's a tough spot right there because that would have changed the entire bracket for me if I would have gone with Inside Out over Nemo, right? Because that's the two that were going up against each other.
Yeah, is Trolls not a Disney movie?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I really like Trolls.
It's like a Justin Timberlake movie.
You're not wrong. I mean, Monsters Inc. and Cars the original. You picked Monsters Inc., which is a good pick. Monsters Inc. I would have going quite a ways. Yeah. It's one of my favorites. I love
what's like your favorite part of Monsters Inc.?
Just anything that little girl does. It's fucking adorable. And
the guy with the eye, like Mike Wazowski, I think.
Yeah. And his
just
name,
him getting beat up,
and the lady that's like, hello. Like, that lady's pretty awesome. I enjoy her. Okay, so The Incredibles and Wall-E. Yeah. You picked Wall-E.
Yeah, that was a tough spot too because I actually I feel like Wall-E better than I do The Incredibles. The Incredibles I think is just over really quickly. And I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. And
I like The Incredibles. The baby was awesome. And they're actually coming out with a new one soon.
Yes.
The only thing I saw about the new Incredibles that I did not like is no one has aged.
Right.
So it's been that long since
They're
the last one came out, and it's still a baby. And I'm like, no, I would like to see the baby as like a smaller kid now and how his powers have flourished. Yeah. But instead,
He's just, but he's also at the time they are from the previews I've seen. He is like starting to utilize his
More powers, right?
Yeah, because he starts like wearing his dad out basically because dad's staying at home and mom's out fighting crime.
That's cool. That's a cool premise. Also, another movie that's not on here is no, that's Incredibles, right? With the Frozo or what?
Yep.
Yeah. Dude,
Honey, where is my super suit?
Yeah, I saw a guy on Halloween like 6 years ago, and he was dressed as Frozo.
That's awesome.
And his freaking belt lit up, and it was awesome, dude. He should have won it all. It was a black dude too. I'm just like, this is coming together for me. Okay, on the other side we got Lion King. Whoo!
Lion King went the distance for me.
Nobody fucks with Lion King. Tarzan. Which Tarzan didn't do much for me.
I wasn't a huge Tarzan fan.
I mean, it's all right. I could see how it would be a good movie to some people.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my cup of tea. You got The Princess and the Frog and Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is going
to...
Yeah.
No competition there with The Princess and the Frog. I think I've seen Princess and the Frog once and I fell asleep.
Is that I don't
It's
mean
Louisiana.
Yeah, but it's with black people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might...
That's not the reason I don't like it.
No, I'm not saying that's why, but I'm just glad
that's just what I thought immediately that I sounded
like. It's like the Black Panther of Disney movies. Like, I'm really... Anytime black people and or Hispanic people can get their own Disney movie, I'm all about that. So, but it's going against Lilo and Stitch, which is also... They're Hawaiian, I guess.
What is that? It's something Asian, isn't it?
Like I think I'm probably going to be completely wrong. Yes, but I thought they come from like Asian origin, and then they were just migrated there at some point. But yeah,
we're terrible with our history. So if you guys want to check us on
I'm
that,
also in a history class and still terrible at history. Let's see, Tangled. Not a fan.
God, I love Tangled. Flynn Rider, he's so awesome. He's one of the best characters ever.
Big Hero 6, I liked a lot because of the white bubble.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't see either of these movies like in a whole.
I can't even remember what the bubble guy's name is.
I know, but I just love when he's like deflating and he's like really like acting drunk. That shit's hilarious. So I don't really have anything to say about those two. Frozen and Moana.
That's tough competition right there. Both really big movies.
You and your wife picked Frozen. I think that might be a lot of people's, but for me, Moana really resonated with my daughter. Even this morning, I was getting her dressed, and she was like, "Moana, make way." So in that case,
I do like Moana. I enjoy it, but once again, it goes back to I got to go with my gut, and my initial reaction was Frozen.
If you put that Snowman song up against any Moana song, you're out of your mind.
Which one? Like when the little guy Olaf is singing?
Yeah,
I love it.
And or the what's the main Frozen song?
The chick, Let It Go. That's a great song.
Good, yeah,
it's a great song. And the moose. There's always comical animal characters.
Yeah, the chicken in Moana.
Yeah, the chicken was pretty good. The chicken was pretty good. Where it walks off the boat and then the ocean puts it right back on the boat.
And my daughter actually loves the giant crab from Moana.
I do too.
And the guy that plays him, I love that guy.
I like him. I like it.
You know the guy that plays him? The guy from New Zealand? He's got like a kind of a weird face.
I know who you're talking about.
And he was in that Flight of the Conchords show. And he's really funny. He talks like this. Like he's just got really like dumbed down. Hello. Like if I could do
love that. I just love that. Like he's a crab, right? Like
yeah.
And it's a good song.
And he sings this. Yeah, it's good. And then Aladdin and Hercules. As much as I love Hercules, Aladdin's gonna win that all day. Yeah. But don't take that away from Hercules because I love me some Hercules.
Hercules is I think an underrated Disney movie.
Agreed, and I don't think it should have immediately been put up against Aladdin.
Right.
The Little Mermaid and Pocahontas.
Jen was all in on Little Mermaid. Did I pick Little Mermaid or did I go Pocahontas?
Yeah, you both picked Little Mermaid.
See, I was really torn with that one too because I like Pocahontas a lot.
So Zootopia and
one of the hottest Disney queens of all time.
Redhead. She's a redhead. Mulan and Zootopia. For me, it's actually Zootopia. Yeah. Because you guys both picked Mulan. My daughter loves Zootopia and I love it. I've seen it. I'm not even joking 20 times.
Yeah.
I feel for that little rabbit. She's what
Hops.
Yeah,
Officer Hops.
Yeah,
I know too much about these movies.
she is a woman, and she is strong and but small but mighty.
Yeah.
And she
It's
really
a good underdog story.
She really goes up against some adversity, and I really just enjoy her story.
I think like I said, I wanted to talk just like I think the pairings are not very good in some of the areas.
We got one left, and then we'll get to we'll get to the hard hitters.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast and Nightmare Before Christmas, which is weird.
That is a weird pairing as well.
Some people are just like, those kids at school that wore Nightmare Before Christmas stuff like every day.
Yeah.
Like that's what really turned it off for me. I'm
and
like,
that movie was creepy. Like I remember being scared of it as a kid.
I like the movie, but it's like what made me not like it was those kids wearing like, I got a beanie that looks like, the main character's head. That just turned it off.
That was a little weird. Yeah.
And then Beauty and the Beast is just a little too, sappy for me.
Right.
A little too lame.
Yeah. And I think maybe that what they were going with in that pick right there was that I think they both happened during Christmas, obviously with Nightmare Before Christmas, but doesn't Beauty and the Beast, isn't there like winter and like Christmas time ish going on?
I would say ish. Yeah. It's definitely something
so
like
maybe that's what they were thinking there.
So what we'll do is Lion King brought it down the line for one bracket, Aladdin for another.
Yeah.
Questionably Finding Nemo, and I would have said Monsters Inc. would have got down to the end for that side of the bracket because there's not really anything that goes up against it.
So your final four, what would be your final four?
My final four, but it wouldn't go along these brackets. I would just have to pick four of my favorites.
True.
But if I was sticking to this bracket, my final four, because
you got Monsters Inc.
Yeah, because it's against a bunch of shitty movies.
Yeah.
If it was against some of these other ones, I would go over it. But I do like, so it would be Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Lion King, and Aladdin. But those are really hard for me to make because I really like Moana.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it would be very similar to yours. The only thing that's different is you had Finding Nemo winning it all against the other three that I pretty much said, minus Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
my justification on Nemo over Lion King is Nemo, when I watch that, I can literally pick it up at any moment. Like if I'm scrolling through the cable TV and like start it, I can watch it from that moment till the end. Lion King, if I don't catch it at the beginning, I get kind of like disappointed. I don't watch the whole thing. So I know that's weird justification, but like with Lion King, I have to actually set that time aside to watch the whole thing from start to finish. Whereas Finding Nemo is so entertaining to me that I can watch it at any moment and just like either pick it up or leave it kind of thing. So I don't know.
I just think a lot of these.
I don't know if that's a very logical argument, but that was my argument.
Like you said, a girl on Facebook said that A Bug's Life would have been like her favorite or whatever. So I think a lot of these movies just resonate with people differently, and that.
And Finding Nemo was a big moment. Like when it came out, I was like in high school, and I know that like that's weird that I was really into it, but I was like that was like the movie I watched with a lot of like dates. Like
I remember
when we'd go
watching
home
it.
and watch
I was in
movies with
it was
like
at
popcorn.
least out. It was at least out. Yeah, you would have been in high school, like a freshman.
Yeah,
because I did remember going on my 8th grade trip and us watching it on the bus ride.
Yeah,
but yeah, some of these just like for my daughter or whatever, like we watch Moana so much and it's around so much that it probably like really resonates with her and it'll probably be on her list when she's older or whatever. So I just think it depends on,
yeah, I think it's age and what that film meant to you at the time.
Exactly.
Because Lion King is like, I've told people this a bunch of times, Lion King's the only movie that I've actually cried when I was watching the movie.
Finding Nemo?
No, Lion King.
Oh, Lion King, yeah.
That's why it was such a difficult decision between that and Nemo because, like I said, Nemo, there's a lot of history there. I've seen that movie 100 times, just like I've seen Lion King 100 times.
You know what movie was sad for me?
What's that?
Indian in the Cupboard.
Indian in the Cupboard?
Cupboard. Cupboard.
Well, I don't even remember. I mean, I kind of remember the little guy. Like, that's all I remember.
Yeah, and he dies. And
really?
They bury him, yeah, and they put him in the ground, and it was sad to me. I don't really remember.
So like in a little matchbox?
Yeah, they put him in a matchbook, in a matchbox. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they do.
That's hilarious. I was just guessing.
No, you're right. They bury him in the yard.
That's not going to last very long. The worms are going to get to him pretty quick.
Yeah, but then I think Owen Wilson was the cowboy, and
that's Night at the Museum.
Oh, now I'm getting it mixed up. Yeah. Oh wow. Who's the Indian in that, or the cowboy? I mean,
the cowboy in that movie. I don't have any idea, but he was a dickhead, wasn't he? Like he was like.
Well, they
trying to kill.
They didn't even like each other at first,
right?
And then
did they become buddies later?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then his little brother like puts all his like Darth Vader, T-Rex, like all these different, yeah.
And then it caused all hell to break loose.
Yeah. So Hoppy Easter.
Yeah. You stole that from me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys are listening to this is actually after Easter, but and if you're watching on the Facebook Live, Hoppy Easter. People are probably in the middle of Easter dinner right now.
Yeah.
Or Easter lunch or whatever.
Eat some deviled eggs for me.
I forgot about those. Those are like my favorite.
I'm pretty pumped. My boss tonight said he's going to make pizzas for everybody because I'm going to make $0 tonight because everyone's going to be
at dinner.
Yeah. At their home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a very strong point about Easter candy, sweet tart. The sweet tarts that come out during Easter time with the little bunnies and the bunnies and the ducks. They're the best sweet tarts of all time.
I like Peeps.
No way.
I'm just kidding. No, I do not. I hate Peeps.
I'm so glad that you did that move instead of actually fighting for those because they're the grossest,
so
grossest candy of all time.
Those. How's that company still in?
It's disgusting. Like, to be honest though, I don't think I've ever even eaten one.
I have. I remember like putting it in my mouth and spitting it out. I'm like, this is disgusting.
What is it? What's the texture on those? Are they like?
Do
they just like dissolve?
It's a marshmallow.
I know.
It's a marshmallow coated with sugar.
Oh God,
it's disgusting.
Oh, okay,
and probably horrible for you. What's your favorite Easter treat? Do you like?
I'm definitely saying those sweet tarts.
Are you a hollowed out rabbit kind of guy or a full on?
No chocolate, chocolate rabbits.
Well,
I've said it before. I'm very strong on the sweet and sour stuff, and then like chocolate. I'm not a big fan of chocolate.
I'm actually with you, and not a lot of people are. I'm like more of a. I like to go to the gas station and get sour worms,
right?
Like gummy worms.
Those are good.
Yeah, and I even like Swedish fish.
I don't like those. But I also, that's something I didn't eat because it's one of those things, and I know this is completely irrational, but I'll look at something and be like, I'm not eating that, and not even try it because I'm like, that looks gross to me.
Yeah, I'm a gummy guy.
Those like little peanuts.
My grandma brings, she used to. She brought gummy bears back from Germany.
Nice.
And for whatever reason, they're so good there.
They're probably better in Germany, aren't they?
Yeah. They're made out of different skeletal animals.
What are they made out of?
From what I came to understand, anything gummy is made out of like
bone marrow,
processed bone.
No way!
I swear.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to Google that.
I've also heard that M&M shells are made out of beetles.
No way!
I'm just telling you what I heard, man. I could be a total idiot and just been like, "Hey, Facebook could have got me again." So when you were growing up, did you go to Easter a lot? Did you do the whole Easter thing?
So my thing is Easter has always been a big holiday for our family. We went to my stepdad's a lot. Well, when he was my stepdad, we went to his house a lot, and then we would have to do 2 Easter holidays together. I too
have divorced parents,
which I was not a big fan of. I was not a big fan of having to go to 2 places, and then also I was really bored most of the time at my stepdad's family side, and then I just wanted to go to my family side because I had more fun hanging out with my family.
Yeah,
now I go to 0.
I'm with you. My family growing up, my dad's ex-wife's family, they're strange people, and I never enjoyed. I mean, I did. I liked. My favorite thing about Easter was we would all play football.
Right.
All the kids would go out in the backyard and play like
because it's starting to warm up.
Play like 2-hand touch, even if it was cold.
Yeah.
I was really big into like backyard football when I was a kid. I played that a lot.
So just to let you know, gelatin is made from animal byproducts, often bones, which not only make gummy worms non-vegan, but also makes us feel pretty gross about eating them. Other major ingredients include corn syrup, the king of processed foods, sugar, 21 grams per serving, citric acid, and lactic acid.
So do not eat gummy shit anymore.
Anything.
Yeah, but I was right?
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like that makes them sound like the most horrible candy of all time.
And then the picture that was incorporated with when I found this out was a bulldozer pushing a pile of bones into a bigger pile, and I was like, okay. And then like 3 days later, I was eating gummy bears again. So Hoppy Easter is something that you enjoy saying?
So Hoppy Easter is something that I saw other people post, and I just thought it was funny because, the bunny rabbit, like we all know Easter is not about Jesus. It's about the bunny rabbits and the eggs that we find in the yard.
Of course. Because how many fucking white bunnies do you see at all ever?
There's a bunch of rabbits in our house.
But they're not white. They're not white.
Housing edition. No, they're not.
Yeah. The only ones you can get that are white are at the pet store.
Yeah.
And probably are. They're imported from somewhere.
Yeah. And like, I don't know how they became. No, also, real quick, the M&Ms are made from sugar and corn syrup. Nothing more, nothing less. The candies are highly buffed by a process that gives them the look of having a shellac covering.
Shellac.
The tasty centers are made from a mix of whole milk, cocoa, butter, sugar, and chocolate liqueur.
Instead of saying I'm chillax, I'm going to start saying I'm shellac. You're chill? No, I'm covered in chocolate.
A crunchy shell. But yeah, I mean, Easter is one of those times that I think I'm interested. Like, some people have like Good Friday off, and I was like curious about that because, you know, I don't actually know the timeline of like the whole Jesus thing. Like, was Friday when he
don't even ask me, bro.
I know Easter was when he came back.
Dude, yeah. So I'm not even gonna pretend.
I love people that say Happy Zombie Jesus Day.
That's kind of funny.
I think I said that last year.
40, because there's the days for Lent, which is the time it took them to cross the desert, I believe.
Yeah.
That's really all I know. I know there's Ash Wednesday with the Ash thing. I need to know this because, one, I was baptized Catholic, and two, my family that I'll be marrying into or whatever is extremely Catholic.
Oh, okay.
And if they were here right now, they would tell us everything we need to know.
Yeah. So is your wedding going to be super long?
Yeah. There's going to be a pamphlet, and it's going to say
like exactly what's
when
going
to
on.
expect things. And I don't know, honestly. But yes, it will be a Catholic wedding, and it will probably take forever.
Yeah. That's good, though.
Yeah.
I mean, my wedding was like, I think 12 minutes.
What? That's crazy. That's very crazy.
Went through the vows and everything, and
let's get to the after party.
Jason, the guy that was our
aficionado,
our officiant, he didn't actually tell anybody to sit down. So basically, people stood the entire ceremony, and I didn't see because Jen and I are looking at each other, and we have our backs to the audience.
You know what I want to do?
So I want to be standing the entire time.
I want to be like when everyone says, "Everyone, please sit." I want him to make them say, "Everyone, please kneel," like we're kings or something. That would be cool, right?
Yeah. One of the best parts about getting married is you are kind of like a celebrity for a day, which is pretty cool. Everybody wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's all about you.
I loved
like,
every minute. I'll try to make it back around, guys. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
My time's a little pressed right now.
It's one of my favorite days of all time.
Yeah. So you had a realization last night of how much you miss a certain movie, and
yeah. Hustle and Flow. Jen has not seen that movie, and she doesn't know the greatness of It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp.
Trying to whoop that trick. Yeah, whoop that trick. Yeah. I was telling you earlier, I didn't get too far into it. The guy that plays that, the actor, I really, really liked
Terrence Howard, I think.
Yes, you're right. Don't even look it up. You're right. Okay. There's a guy, or he was in a movie about swimming. It's like a black swim team. I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed him as War Machine, I guess, in the very first Iron Man.
Yeah, it's sad that he didn't think that movie was going to be successful, so he dropped out.
Yeah. Well, look at Robert Downey Jr. now.
And then he wanted like a ton more money to come back.
Yeah.
And they're like, nope, we're just going to give it to Don Cheadle and not say anything.
Yeah, Don Cheadle's pretty dope.
Yeah, I like him too.
I think they should have gave it to Mos Def. Because Don Cheadle and Mos Def are the same person.
Are they really? I've never even seen what Mos Def looks like, but I'm going to look him up.
Yeah, they kind of look like this. To me, in my brain, they look like the same
They
person.
do look pretty similar. Mos Def looks younger.
Hope I'm not like this guy. This black guy looks like this black guy. I mean,
Mos Def has like kind of like a weird.
Can I tell you what I say to my tables at work? And I always say it to really cool tables.
Okay,
but it'll be like a table of white people, and then I'll like forget to bring a beer to like the right person, and then I'll just go, "All you white people look the same," and it usually gets a pretty good laugh, or they'll just be like, "What?" But it's a little risky, but I do it anyways.
There was a kid that I went to high school with that always used to say, "I'll be right black, you stay white there."
Oh, I like that. That's cool. Does he just say it to black people?
No, he would just say it to anybody.
Yeah, because there's no black people in Eastern. So
Exactly. We had one African American gentleman.
I'm going to say that there's people,
and one African American female, I think.
I'm going to say that there's people that went to your high school that didn't talk to a black person until they were like older.
Yeah, there may be like people that have never. Like,
yeah, from Eastern or just in general. Because I know there's people
from Eastern
that are like from white,
just rural areas,
Whiteville, USA.
Yeah,
and they just for whatever reason don't venture out, and they just end up
intermarrying.
Even for me, I think when I was a kid, I think I was in a little bit of a culture shock when I moved from Rushville to Beech Grove.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't even, there was only still like 6 or 7 black kids in my school. But for whatever reason, I was just kind of like, well, this is crazy. But I mean, not like a bad way. Just.
Yeah. You kind of like, if you grow up like with kids like of a different race and everything like that, you're very comfortable with it because it's normal.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that though, if you go somewhere, it's one of those situations that I've always told people, like, if I am going somewhere and I'm the minority, no matter what, like if I'm the only white person, then no matter what, you're going to have a natural feeling of like, this feels weird because you're if you're and vice versa. If there was one black guy with a bunch of white guys, and like in a room, like maybe I'm trying to paint a picture here. So like, say you're sitting in a waiting room and like you're, auditioning for a film role or something like that, and you're the only person, you're going to feel weird. Why am I here? I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of talking out my ass. But basically, I'm just saying that no matter what, if you're the minority, you're going to feel uncomfortable.
You do. I mean, a lot of with me is like Ivy Tech. Sometimes I'm definitely the minority. Like I had a class last semester, and there was one other dude, and he was like, I don't know, mixed, it looked like. And then me, and then everybody else in the class, besides like one person, was a black lady, like a girl.
Yeah.
And I mean, surprisingly enough, I came in there the first day and I was very I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I was cool.
You get used to it.
I was like emailing them, asking them for questions, and they were like, responding with me to get the answers to this. And like at the end, it just didn't matter. But I was but definitely with Ivy Tech, there's a lot of diversity with the race, and it's cool. It's definitely something I'm not used to, but I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't ever feel uncomfortable in situations, usually just because I'm more than happy to just talk to anybody, really. Like, I don't have any worries about talking to people, so that's just kind of a natural reaction. But, my wife is one of those people that she wants to know the people that she's hanging out with before she hangs out with them.
Yeah.
So, like, we went to the Cincinnati Indy 11 soccer game yesterday, like the opening game.
Was that fun?
It was a good time. I mean, it was interesting. But like what I was saying though is my wife was like meeting a bunch of other guys, fiancés / significant others, and I think Jen's a little bit quiet at first, but then when we were leaving, she was like, I think those girls really liked me. It was kind of sucky that we had to decide to go home instead of like stay out with them, and I was like, yeah. It's kind of cool to like have social interaction with random strangers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she was all in. But once again, she just gets uncomfortable in places that are brand new.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like all in, like let's meet everybody.
See, if I'm drinking, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And the perfect example of this was Halloween. When I first got there, I was like sitting on the couch by myself and felt very, very awkward.
Yeah.
And then once I get some drinks in me, I'm like having fun. I'll talk to anybody. It's just like, I don't like meeting new people when I'm sober.
Right.
And a lot of times with Nicole, I've had to meet a bunch of new people, like walk into a room of just a whole bunch of people I don't know. And I am just not into it. And everyone in there could tell that I'm not into it. And it just doesn't make for good. I think it's just as safe that I should just have like 6 beers before I go to any situation.
Well, I also realized when I started the podcast, that there was, I gave myself a 3 beer limit, and I've gone over that on some occasions.
Yeah.
And
The other night it was a 3 pitcher limit.
Exactly. But yeah, and what I noticed last week was, I think I had too many, and I felt like I kind of went off the rails a couple of times, just like I just did with the whole like feeling uncomfortable if you're the minority thing. But I think I got my point across. But yeah, last week, I mean, just
No, I mean
you just kind of ramble sometimes. I think doing this podcast, since when you are at like 100 plus episodes, I mean, even though you feel like you're getting really good at it, you kind of just tend to ramble sometimes.
I mean, rambling makes for good. I think what I enjoy about listening to other podcasts is like their mind frame and their like process of thinking, because I like to like go along with them. It's like, because a lot of times one conversation will turn into where we completely start talking about something different,
Right?
And that's enjoyable to me, because usually with podcasts I listen to are like the kind of people that I enjoy listening to. So in turn, I follow them along with their thought process. So I don't think it's a bad thing to ramble. I think we're just kind of like going off and talking about the shit we want to talk about. And when it's just me and you with these podcasts, I think it's important to just like talk about what we want to talk about. After all, it is our podcast.
Right. And it's crazy that I feel like the ones that are just us seem to get downloaded the most, which I don't know why. Like, I don't know if it's because of the timing.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe some people don't like the interview style thing that we do sometimes, which I mean, but I think there's also a large group of people that do enjoy that. I think it's like, I like the Joe Rogan style where he has people on and interviews them, but he also doesn't like continuously interview them. They also get into random conversations. Like when we had Pointless, I always do this. Unlimited, what is it?
PTO Unlimited.
PTO Unlimited on. We just talked.
Yeah.
And they were also our guests, and we did ask them a few questions, but we also just rambled and talked about shows we liked. And that I really enjoyed that, and that's what I would want to hear in a podcast.
So what are, like, so for example, the Indy 11 thing, I want to definitely get like tickets to that more often, because it's super fun.
Have you been to Indy Fuel?
I have not. That's a hockey team, isn't it?
Yeah, it was actually really fun. And like, I went to a lot of ice games as a kid, and the production value, it was just like, you just got kind of like a gross feeling from that place. But
what was the gross feeling?
Is you're just in like it was in like in the RCA Dome, right? Or no. Sorry,
it was like
sorry.
Pan Am
Pepsi Coliseum.
And so what was the feeling of like walking in?
It's just grody, like an old building, and they just weren't like, it wasn't very popular.
Right.
I mean, it kind of was. Yeah, very similar to maybe that feeling.
That's exactly the sound that I thought. This is a perfect little app, I think.
But with the Indy Fuel, they like really revamped the hockey in the city, and they had like I don't know what it's called, hockey halftime. Is that a thing? No. They had a break in the middle.
I think you're right, but I think it's like, what is it, 3 periods?
Yeah, so they had this thing in the middle where they had like, all these people playing games, and like they had, I feel like there was fireworks, maybe not. But it's also cool. They have those beers there that you set down and it fills them from the bottom.
Those are cool. The bottoms up.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
And that place is, I don't know. I got hammered, way too drunk, because anytime I go to any event, I just have to be pounding beers for whatever reason.
That's what we did at the soccer game yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm just like, oh, my beer's empty. Better go get
another one.
And I would get the ones that were this like
it's like 32 ounces.
Yes, and I didn't need to be. And they had like Daredevil liftoff, and I'm just pounding like.
That's even more intense.
Yes, so
because I stick with like, when I'm drinking a lot of beers, I stick with like Miller Lite, Michelob Ultra, like stuff like that.
I have learned to do that now that I had just like feel like shit the next day and get full and get too drunk too quick. Now I'm just, when I know I'm going to go out and drink a lot, I just chill out and have like light beers. And people give me shit for it. They're like, oh, like, that's pussy beer. That's water.
Don't care.
Or whatever dumb shit you say about beer. Right. What does it matter? Beer snobs is a real thing, because we have all these damn breweries here. So everyone's like, oh, you should drink this IPA, this
double hopped, double bock bullshit
session IPA with a hint of tangerine.
But I mean, on the flip side, I do like some craft, like like IPAs. Like, I'm all in on IPAs most of the time.
I work at a brew house.
Yeah, they had a really gross one though yesterday. It was like it was called a milkshake IPA, and one of the ingredients was sweetened lactose.
That's disgusting. That sounds gross.
It was really gross.
If it's gonna have milkshake, it needs to be a stout or a porter.
It came out purple.
Ugh.
Like, it's a weird color. Yeah, it was gross.
There's a beer at Scotty's called Blackberry Wheat.
Yeah.
And it has a weirdish red purple tint to it, but it's actually phenomenal.
Really good.
It's like a wheat beer though. So a certain robot
Yeah, I've got this video that I wanted to show you too, Shane. It's pretty freaking crazy. Let me get it real quick.
But this, okay, so we're still talking about the robot though,
Yeah,
right? Is that what you're bringing up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a video, because I'm pretty sure I know the video that you're talking about. And this video is 12 years old, and it's
Or no, it's 2012. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I just said it wrong. Video from 2012, and it's basically a robot running not only
On
fast,
a treadmill.
yeah, faster than a human.
It looks really weird.
Why is it doing the sound without the video?
What the fuck? Well, anyways, basically there it is. It's like a little robot dog.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, if the video will fucking play. Anyways, there we go. It gets up to like, I want to say like 20 something miles an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's like
running so weird.
Right.
It looks like it's having a seizure, and it's also being held up by like strings or something.
I think those are like the power or something like that.
Yeah, but it's like causing it to make it
really?
like, I don't know. It does look weird, but it's going 18 miles an hour. I think the fastest human is like 23 miles an hour. Or
it gets up there.
Oh yeah, 25. There we go. All right, Usain Bolt.
Yeah, but
26.
So that
looks weird.
So that's 2012 though. That's like what, 6 years ago.
So the running dogs we must have now.
So I'm just wondering, like, why haven't we seen it? Like, it goes to my like conspiracy theory mind where I'm like, we haven't seen this in the news probably because they don't want us to see it.
Because as soon as that video came out, the government bought that.
Yeah,
and now they're like,
we're going to use this to attack people. Like, I guarantee you that's.
Have you seen the thing that has wheels and its legs, like it can jump? And it's like,
yeah. That's
insane.
It's from the same company, I think, Boston Dynamics.
And
like
it
they're
jumps
making
really
robot.
high and like will level its legs to whatever field it can jump. It's
And they're also making they're making like exoskeletons for people to help them working in like warehouses and things where people move stuff.
Yep.
It like causes less fatigue because it's like assisting them with lifting stuff.
I have seen that.
We're getting there. It's gonna be really cool sci-fi world.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming to fruition. If that's the word.
I don't know if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, but I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's cool. It's a little scary.
The robot thing is like I think that's terrifying.
The exoskeleton makes me think it's like you're gonna put it on, everything's gonna be going fine, and it's just gonna like
snap you
into like a fucking pretzel.
That's like that's another Marvel movie where the guy's trying to recreate Iron Man's suit, like the hammer guy,
yeah,
and the thing like twists all the way around, and like he falls
it just
over.
shows him, just like twisting completely, and
but yeah, I just think that those attack dogs are, it's crazy that they're. I don't know what motivates those people to do that. Like what are they? What's the end game? Are they just like trying to make a robot for positive aspects, or is it literally trying to make things for weapons? Because there was the video of the Russian robot or whatever that was shooting a handgun or something like that.
I think it's just like make this thing that can run really fast and someone will buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you just
probably all comes down to money and sex.
Yeah, and somebody obviously had to give them money to be able to even do that, probably.
Right,
so,
grants and things like that.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's just part of their. It's probably a lot of universities do stuff like that. So maybe I don't know if is it a company or
it's called Boston Dynamics. They're a robotics company.
Yeah, so maybe they're funded by a university or something like that, and they're able to make some cool shit.
Their headline is Boston Dynamics changing your idea of what robots can do. Look at this fucking thing.
Oh my, that's
look at that.
Cool,
that's like a human.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's
the thing. There it is.
That's the one that jumps.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's weird.
Look at that thing, dude. It looks just like a deer, like a robot deer.
That's so weird.
It is insane.
I don't like the way their legs move. They look all like, robotic, I guess.
Right. There's the handle, leg and wheels. That's the one that you were talking about.
It's called leg and wheels?
No, it's called handle. There's the Spot Mini, which is like the little dog, but it's like a little tiny one. There's Atlas, the world's most dynamic humanoid. So that's the one that was walking around on two legs like a person.
Yeah.
There is Spot, the original Spot. The cool thing about the Spot was I've seen them push that thing on ice, and it like steadies itself on slippery ice, even. Which is insane.
Impressive, yeah.
And then there's the LS3, which is a legged squad support system, which that sounds a little aggressive. That's probably something military. There's the Wildcat. That's the one that goes really fast. There's the Big Dog, the first advanced rough terrain robot. The Sand Flea leaps small buildings in a single bound.
Stop naming it after that shitty things that are in the sand at the beach.
And then the R Hex. This Big Dog, I want to kind of see this thing. Look at
These
this.
total bros that we're going to call this one the Big Dog.
Can you see that one?
Yeah, it is a big
It's
dog.
freaking sweet. That's awesome.
Dude, if I was in a war and I saw that thing coming at me, I'd be like, I quit.
Oh, this is the one that is on. This is the one that is on the ice. There's probably going to be an ad. Nope. Listen to it.
Is that the noise it's making? It's also got a beehive attached to it.
That's weird
so
noise.
annoying.
Yeah,
God.
fuck that noise. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to see that thing. Like, it's not very stealthy.
No, it's just like, what's that noise, guys?
If you are using that for military applications,
Maybe it's just like put fear in people.
right? That's
like
that's though. Have you seen? This is where he kicks it,
Oh wow, yeah,
and it like stood back up.
dude. We've had robots for like less than 10 years, and we're already abusing them.
Kicking the shit.
They're already oppressed.
That's so crazy. That I don't know. I'm all in on these robots. They're cool.
Yeah, dude.
This one's slipping and sliding and falling, but it's like getting back up. It's not falling all the way down. That's awesome. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of the Black Mirror though. There's an episode. Have you watched all of them?
I've seen all of them. Yeah.
Did you see the one with the little robot, like the little tiny robot that chased the chick and like its like main purpose was to like kill humans or something like that? It was like almost like eradicating like the human race.
No,
You didn't see that one?
I did. I just don't remember. I've seen all of them.
That's exactly what these robots remind me of, though, because they're these like little tiny four-legged robots, and like the chick is running from it. I think she like breaks one of its legs, but it like starts to like learn to walk with three legs instead and still chases her. It's crazy. And then at the very she just finally destroys this thing, and it's like literally this big, but like it's been this whole episode of like her fighting and running away from this little tiny thing.
It's tiny.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like this big. It's like probably like maybe a foot or so, like long. But the whole episode is her fighting this one, and then like at the very end, there's like 70 of them coming towards her.
Oh, so she's fucked.
Yeah, you're like, yes, she's gonna live, and then she's walking away or running away or whatever, and then like the camera pans out and you see a bunch more like chasing after her car. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's totally Black Mirror for you.
I fully suggest watching that if people have not watched Black Mirror.
Yeah, if you're like skeptical like I was, because at first, and another thing that you need to keep in mind, the very first episode is going to throw you for a loop.
Oh yeah,
and you're going to be like, what did I just watch?
Yeah,
and then after that, it'll kind of chill out after that. I think
it's still, I mean, the thing is though, I think the idea behind the first one is still like, it's a cool like premise. It's just kind of fucked up.
Yeah. I think it's a good episode. I'm just saying a lot of people a
lot of people get turned off by that.
For
first
a minute,
one.
I was just like, what did I just watch? Like, are all of these going to be like this? But every single one is a completely different story. That is like, and they're all really. I mean, there might be one or two that aren't the best story.
Yeah,
but I enjoyed most of them.
Yeah, and then one of my favorites is also the one with Don Draper from Mad Men. It's the season finale of I think the first season.
Oh yeah, where he's like in his confession. He got a confession out of him in like the cabin or whatever.
Super cool.
That one's weird. I felt so sorry for that guy, and then.
But then wasn't he like he was a really bad guy though?
Yeah,
wasn't he?
but the whole thing, you're like, man, this guy's been away from his daughter, and then you find out it's some Asian guy's daughter instead, and then
yeah, it's kind of fucked up. But that's.
I just should have said spoiler alert.
It's whatever. I don't think people.
I didn't say what episode now, and they're just going to be like, oh, Don Draper, Asian guy.
But yeah,
Jon Hamm actually, and I've met Jon Hamm.
You told me about that.
Yeah, Super Bowl when the
It's
Super Bowl
so cool.
came to Indiana.
That is a really cool
so weird, dude.
situation. He's
such
tall, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like, well, not great, like maybe like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah. Is he taller than me?
Sames or
Probably
a little
same,
bit taller. I don't know. I can't really. I was so drunk. But the crazy part about it was that was such a weird night, dude. I was like riding around on those. They had a bunch of bikes.
Yeah, the rickshaws.
Yeah, but it was like a nice one that had speakers, and the guy was playing like Biggie, and he was like, "Boo, boo, boo, boo," like
That's
like,
so cool.
straight. And I was like feeling myself, dude. I had a bunch of beer, and I was with some dude I didn't even know. We were just like, "Fuck yeah, Super Bowl!" And then I see all these people crowd around this door. I'm like, I get off the rickshaw, like jump off it as it's going, obviously, and go to this door, and then out comes Jon Hamm. And I have a picture of it on my old Facebook, and I have just this picture where like I look clearly drunk.
Did you save it? Like you should go on that Facebook and save it.
I will have to, but that's
because we could post that on our Facebook.
Yeah, I will get it.
Which would be good.
I'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that like I know that we talked about. You know, I appreciate everybody that does, you know, go to the Facebook page, but you know, people have really been commenting on like some of the stuff. Like for example, when I posted the picture of the bracket, people were like, oh, this is like, you know, causing some controversy, and I kind of like that. And I've been noticing that people have been like going there and using it a lot more. So I appreciate everybody that's doing that.
Yeah, back to the bracket a little bit. I not too much. I don't know.
Right.
We spent a lot of time on that, but I just don't like how they took a lot of old movies and newer movies and put them against each other, because I feel like there should be one for really old Disney movies and then one against newer ones.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, I think somebody commented on there. Oh, that was an accident. I was actually queuing that up for when you were talking about being on the rickshaw, but I was too slow. But yeah, people were like,
we're gonna have to take that away from you eventually.
Probably.
Yeah.
I want to get like a little sound pad, like
yeah,
one of those DJ MIDI, like I think is what
exactly
it's called.
What you're talking about, yeah.
Because James from Live Lift Game, his Twitch stream, which is really cool.
I saw that he beat that ninja guy.
Yeah.
Which was like a huge deal.
So what's crazy about that is I didn't realize that from the video, but he was like killing him, and as he was falling, he got his victory over the guy, but he fell to his death. So like Ninja in that video was like, "Oh, I had him too. Like you guys see that? Like I had but I mean, he got killed. So
he actually won.
So he's still won.
A win's a win, man.
Yeah, exactly.
However the game is set up.
And I just think it's really cool that Twitch, like I kind of want to get us onto Twitch. So I'm like going to figure out how to use this like Mevo camera and like maybe get us on there, because
I thought it was just for video games.
It's for any kind of streaming. They stream all kinds of stuff. There are people that stream like cooking shows on Twitch.
Oh, so it could be similar to like Facebook Live.
Yeah, it's like that.
We could do it as well.
Yeah, and the basically the whole program is more open than Facebook, because Facebook will not show this live video to people until after we're done. Like then it might actually show up in people's feeds, but unless people subscribe to our channel and like actually click on something to be alerted when videos go live, they're not going to know it's going live. Whereas Twitch, if you follow somebody, like you can, obviously you can turn the notifications off, but it's more than likely you're going to see it. The Smugcast is on Twitch now as well. They invested a lot more money into their cameras than we did. So I definitely think that they're worth watching on there. So if you guys get a chance, just look up the Smugcast on there. Same with James with Live Lift Game .tv, because he, just by me going onto his channel and playing some games with them, he got, that like our downloads went up like, I would say like at least 10% from going on there, and like his community that he's built of like over 1,000 people that watch him play Fortnite. Like they're very active. I would say like if he asks them to do something, they're all in on it. So It's really cool. It's just cool that he's built that community.
I saw his big green screen and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and it was
freaking awesome.
It's impressive. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely need to watch that, and then also I'm trying to think about how we're going to get on there, but I would like to. And then it's good to have the addition of Ryan, so we need to I need to teach him some more about the how the recording and stuff goes. But it's awesome that we're building a team as well. So
yeah, it'd be good to have him come up with, I don't know if he's down for this, but to come up with stuff to kind of bring to our attention and in terms of like news that's going on in the world. Maybe he'll like look up some stuff, write it down, and then bring it to our attention so that we're not all over the place trying to talk about news events that we just vaguely heard about or something like that.
Well, and I'm sorry to change gears so quickly, but it made me think of the when we were talking about the robots and like kind of I got onto like conspiracies type stuff.
Talking about the school shooting.
Yeah, it made me think of that just now. And that guy, there was a school shooting that was stopped by an armed police officer or armed security. But I'll look that up real quick. But I just think that's very interesting that it's not in the news.
Yeah, it's in the news definitely, but just not as much as any other school shooting where there would be probably more casualties. And I don't know that I have an opinion on this. I just think that it's very possible that, whatever person, whether it be government or whatever is pushing the gun rights or against the gun rights, like propaganda type stuff.
Well, the media is all in on let's take them away or let's come up with laws to restrict
the media
things.
Is that way, I think, because the government controls the media, and the media is being told to, push the.
Yeah, I mean, people have their agendas no matter what.
Yeah.
But the story is a 17-year-old male student shot 2 other students at Great Mills High School in Maryland on Tuesday morning.
Did they live? Did the kids live?
I believe so.
Last time I heard they were in, like one was in critical care. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
This was also like a week ago.
I might get through this and it might say. The 16-year-old female student is in critical condition and with life-threatening injuries, and the 14-year-old male student who was shot is in stable condition. Yeah. But a 17-year-old male student shot 2 other students at Great Mills High School in Maryland on Tuesday morning. I'm not sure what the date of this is. Started at 7:55 a.m., just before classes started. Authorities say Austin Wyatt Rollins, armed with a handgun, shot a female and a male student. The shooter had a prior relationship with the female student. St. Mary's County Sheriff Tim Cameron said. School resource officer Blaine Gaskill responded to the scene in less than a minute. The sheriff said Gaskill fired a round at the shooter, and the shooter fired a round simultaneously, which I'm kind of confused by that statement. Yeah. Cameron Rollins was later pronounced dead. Gaskill was unharmed. The 16-year-old female student, once again, she's in critical condition. I'm hoping that she's okay now. But he responded exactly as we train our personnel to respond, said the school. The incident is the 17th school shooting in the United States since January 1st. Wasn't there a video saying that was false? That there was like 18 school shootings by like February something? Wasn't that false? Because that was like including.
Has to be false.
That was like including a shooting that might happen around a school or something like that.
Yeah, I don't. To say that there's 18 school shootings in 2 months is it's not. That can't be accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is what I always think is ridiculous. People always say this, and I'm sorry, I'm being a dick about a dead person, but Tony Foreman, who lives near the suspect and his family in nearby Lexington Park, said he was a good kid from a nice family who used to play catch and ride bikes with her son.
Okay, so you saw him outside playing catch and riding bikes. That makes him a good kid.
Yeah.
Anyways, another thing that I kind of want to say about this is like in terms of like being a kid and your emotions and acting on them and stuff is like when I was a kid, my mom used to always tell me like, and I'm sure a lot of people's parents told them this is like, none of this stuff is going to matter later in your life. And you might feel really like I went through a breakup in high school, and I was just like, that's the only time in my life that I've genuinely been depressed.
Right.
And I thought like my life is over. Like this is the worst thing that can possibly happen to me. And then looking back on that is the dumbest thing that I could have thought at that moment. So just for people out there that like, kids or whatever, or parents, like just kind of like it helped me that my mom would always tell me, this seems like it's really, really bad right now, but this stuff's not going to matter later. And maybe that's something that this kid was going to. He sounded like he had an agenda when he shot.
Yeah, clearly he, had a relationship with the girl beforehand.
Had some emotions going on, but you're a young kid. You got the whole rest of your life ahead of you. This is not going to mean anything to you in 10 years. So maybe.
Well, unfortunately for him, it's not going to mean anything for him at all because he's dead.
But what I'm saying is maybe he should have just he needed someone there. I don't know. I'm injecting myself into a situation I knew nothing about. Right. I don't know anything about this kid's home life. I'm just saying that it really helped out when I was a kid that my mom and my parents told me that like informed me that none of this shit's gonna matter later.
Yeah.
And I
And
feel
even
like
as a kid, you think there's no way that they know what they're talking about.
yeah, but I mean, I took a little bit into consideration, and like even months after this happened to me or whatever, I saw that it wasn't as bad. It wasn't the end of the world. Blah blah blah. So it's just I don't know. I think kids just need to be reminded that like it may seem like high school is this big fucking deal. But honestly, how many people from high school do you talk to?
Zero.
Handful?
Maybe one or two.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where like, who can, I mean,
Did you take your parents' advice a lot in high school?
I mean, I took it, but I didn't like, I took it into consideration and like, occupied the idea of what they were saying. But I've learned a lot of things the hard way. And my dad would tell me something and I would do the exact opposite.
Yep.
But I mean,
I've always said that I rebelled for no reason. I didn't have a reason to rebel. Like for example, like my mom pretty much just let me kind of run wherever I wanted to and do whatever I wanted to do. Her only like rule was like just call me and let me know where you're at or what you're doing, and I would just not call. And that was like I mean, I was being a jerk, and I don't know why, but I guess I just felt like I didn't want to feel like I had to call my mom and let her know where I was at. And like that's such a easy, stupid thing that I wish I like going back, like and thinking on hindsight's 2020, like why didn't I just do that? Why didn't I just like,
it is like
call her and let her know? Like,
is
hey,
like
I'm over at Thomas's house or whatever.
Yeah, like it is what you were saying about like when you're a kid, you don't think that anything that your parents are saying has any like worth to it,
Right.
But like genuinely and like as long as exactly like they said it was going to happen, eventually as time has gotten on and I've gotten older, I've realized that a lot of the shit that they said is pretty spot on. So
yeah, and they're just speaking from experience, so
Yeah.
obviously they're not. I mean, most of the time people aren't trying to give you false information.
yeah,
I would hope.
I just wish I would have realized it earlier, and like I just hope that some kids might realize it earlier because I mean your parents, like you said, speak from experience and know that they know a lot more than you do, whether you want to believe it or not.
Could you live with your parents now? Like if you had to?
It depends on the situation, like whether I was bringing half of the money to the table, if it depends on those things. Because like when I lived with my dad when I was like 22, 23, I got a lot of shit from him because I wasn't really bringing much to the table. I was eating all his food. I was staying out all night long, and he would come in my room and at like 1 o'clock and I'd be sleeping. He'd be like, "Are you on drugs?" Like, but I wasn't. I was just hungover from the night before or whatever. And
It's sleeping.
yeah, and I was just lazy and did whatever.
Yeah.
And, I could live with him. It just depend on the.
Yeah.
I couldn't like financially be like letting my parents pay for everything. But if I lived with them and I paid whatever and they paid whatever, then I think I could live with my parents.
Yeah, it's just one of those. The reason I ask is like with my relationship with my mom, we're like best friends.
Yeah.
Like I can tell her anything. We talk about anything. We cannot live together though. Like for some reason, if we live together, we end up having like a knockdown, drag out fight within a month.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where like, how many times have you worked with someone and then later on you're like cooler with them than you were when you worked with them, or a roommate you had and you weren't like you would argue with them and then, or even before you were your roommate. So say you're like, oh, I'm best friends with this person, and then you become their roommate,
right? And
you guys hate each other,
dude.
There's just some people you don't have any business living with, but that doesn't mean you can't be friends. Like, and the same goes for your parents because they're the higher part of that. They're like your family, and you like. I love my parents to death, but when we were like, if we were to live together, we would probably get in way more arguments than we would have just like having specific time. We're like, hey, you want to hang out today? Cool.
I've actually found, and this is another thing that goes kind of back with last week's episode with having those guys from Anderson. I'm going to be working on trying to put together some like stand up stuff.
Yeah,
and part of like my whole I think persona and just the idea of me is I've realized that like it's not all the roommates I've had. I'm probably the bad roommate because I've not been able to get along with literally any person that I've lived with for the entire time, like, and stayed really good friends after living with them.
Yeah.
Besides my wife and Daniel Wallen, one of my best friends from high school. Those are the only two people that I've lived with and not wanted to murder them or vice versa them want to murder me.
Yeah, I've lived with, I think, only one or two people, and I wasn't a good roommate. I was good in terms of like I was.
See, my problem is I thought I was good, but
Yeah.
but when you look back, I was probably like, yeah, that was probably terrible. I was probably an awful roommate.
In terms, I was like more like the cleaner person and did a lot of the cleaning, but I was also like didn't, I don't know. I was kind of an old man. I was like, I just expected everyone to be like quiet at certain times, and you were probably the opposite.
The awesome part about it is like when I asked you the question about if you're able to live with your parents, and then you immediately brought up like, what do I bring to the table? That means that you're probably not a terrible roommate because you're expecting other people to bring something to the table.
Now,
yeah,
you know what I mean? But back in the day, I was very like me, like, my roommate the TV was right on the other side of the wall in the living room of the room that I slept in, and he had surround sound, and he would watch Game of Thrones. And and I had to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, or I had to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning. And he slept all day and went to work at night. Yeah. So it just was like,
that's a tough spot.
And we both weren't pulling our own weight and just kind of blaming it on the other person. Yeah. His mom was charging me like $300 a month to live there
for a room
in a house. Yeah. We lived in it was
I know, but I'm just saying like, the frustrating thing about paying like $300 is like you pretty much is like you're renting a room. Like you're not renting you're renting the whole house.
Yeah, but we were like childhood friends in terms of like we we would hang out in the living room together and watch TV and make dinner together and order pizzas together. He worked at Papa John's, so it was nice.
Probably a cool deal.
Yeah, I got super sick of Papa John's, and but I mean, maybe a lot of me living there was like, I mean, like you said, I don't talk to him anymore. We're not friends anymore, and it might be a lot of the reason because of like how shitty of a roommate I was when I lived there, and I don't know. I just chalk it up to being 22, 23, and just not being the best person you can really be,
And like I said, I think that. At the time, I thought it was every roommate that I was with is like, oh man, this person's a terrible roommate. Or it goes back to even like girlfriends. Like this is the craziest chick I've ever dated. But probably I should have done a little bit more introspective looking at myself and being like, what am I doing that's causing this stuff?
Yeah.
And when you're younger, you don't think that way.
No, and people just in general today don't look at themselves for the problem. A lot of people just want to blame everyone else for their problems. And I really can't get on board with anyone that just complains about their life and pretends like the world has it out for them.
Right.
Those are just like,
it doesn't, but they don't have it out for you.
No, and even if you feel like that, you need to do something to change that. It's not people, it's you acting a certain way and people reacting to you.
Right.
Because the only common denominator in your shitty life is you. So it's like just one of those things where people, and it took me a long time to realize that. Like I was that person. I was like, man, nothing ever good happens. Right. Like, and then I just realized like maybe I'm the one like not pulling my end of the bargain, and these people are tired of it, so they're treating. You know what I mean? So.
But yeah, I mean, and then just like when you talk about growing up and stuff, like my wife was very she was kind of sad yesterday because she kept seeing like children, and she wants to have kids. Like she wants us to have as soon as possible. And I'm in the same boat. Like I'm starting to think like I want to have a kid now. Like I don't want to keep waiting and doing all this not knowing if it's going to happen or not. And the funny thing is she's been off her birth control for over a year, and it just hasn't like happened. So she wants to go to the doctor, get herself checked out, get me checked out, which is funny because I went on the website, and the website is talking about like how they do the process of like examining your sperm. So basically, one of the things on there was if you want to or if you have to, instead of doing your collection at the clinic, if you have to do it by having sex, we have special condoms that you have to come by the office to get it, because a lot of condoms have chemicals and things on them that like would mess up like a reading or whatever.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to figure out is what person is like, they're willing to go through the whole rigmarole of going to the office to get a specialized condom.
Yeah.
Instead of just like rubbing one out at the clinic. Like, why is it? And because basically they take the condom, they have sex, and then they have to like get that to the clinic almost as soon as possible, because they say the longer it is, but the longer between us getting it and testing it, the like more inaccurate it's going to be. So like basically the person would rather go to the clinic, get the condom, have sex with whoever they're having sex with, tie it off, and it says to keep it under the armpit or like in the underwear or under the shirt to keep it warm on your trip to the clinic, and it's got to get to the clinic in less than an hour.
Do you think there's people out there that are like raw dogging it? Like they don't ever like. I know people that are like, I don't have sex with condoms.
Yeah.
So and they're like they go get the condom, they get it ready, and they're like doing it, and then right when they're getting ready to they pull, instead of pull and pray, they pull and go into the condom.
Well, it does say that on there. It said like
because wouldn't the her stuff
it says
mess up the
Yep, it says specifically do not have sex and then go from unprotected sex to deposit your specimen or whatever, because the female's juices, I don't know, that sounds disgusting.
For sure sounds disgusting. That's why I said her stuff instead of juices.
But her secretions
her
as
bodily
well,
fluids.
That would mess up the test. So basically what I'm going to do is I've already decided that I'm just going to go to the clinic and rub one out at the clinic and give them my deposit and figure out because
maybe people just have a problem with performing.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like,
not me. I can do that anywhere,
and I feel completely comfortable with it. Like, I mean, they know what's happening. It's not like it's a weird situation.
Also, any situation where I can watch porn in a different setting than I usually do, it's like playing. It's like playing an away game.
It'll probably go by way too fast.
It's like an away game. And like you're at home game, away game. You're like,
and it makes me wonder if like the people judge the people that are in there like we do Judgment Day, like, oh, that guy went real fast, like, or
I bet there's people that,
or do they get annoyed if somebody takes too long?
I bet there's people that do it like really fast and then just stand in the room. They're like, I don't want to I don't want to come out too fast.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's exactly probably correct.
I mean, if I did,
it's probably going to be me.
Yeah, like, if I did it too fast. Dude, I honestly would probably come fast because I'd be like there.
It is an away game, like you said.
And it's just like I'm in an exciting place and there's people outside the door.
I wonder if they provide stuff for you anymore because of everybody having like their phones. They just like upgrade their Wi-Fi to make it super fast so everybody can watch whatever they want. It's
probably against the rules to let your significant other come into the room with you and
that'd be weird.
Like, jack you
They're not supposed to touch it though, because that also can affect
but they could just give you an old HJ.
That's true.
And
that would be I think that's $1 million idea right there. I think we're gonna, if we could get away with it, like, and then allow people to do that.
And it's funny if maybe there's a guy out there that just wants to have his sperm tested and or like stored for later. Mm-hmm. He just like doesn't have a significant other, so he just like, hey, like calls like an ex-girlfriend or something, or calls like a pretty good friend. He's like, hey, will you come give me a hand job so I can get some of this? I just can't do it myself.
Yeah, that's
or there's a guy that comes out and his left arm is numb because he like sat on it and was like using it to, I can't do it.
Give himself the stranger.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's one of those things that like having kids is like, it seems so easy like for everybody else when you're in that situation like that we're in right now where it hasn't just happened.
So you guys are in a good place to do it.
Yeah.
And it'll like, I feel like you won't have any, you're just in a really, like everything's in the right place for you to do that. And coming from someone that wasn't in the right place, like it still is fine. Like it all just comes to, I'm not sure if we're just talking specifically about just getting pregnant, like the act of getting pregnant or the things that lead up to having the baby. But you guys are like in a very good place to.
Well, we put the boob light in here and, that's for the nursery, is what Jen said. She doesn't call this the podcast room. She calls it the nursery.
Boy. So no babies for you.
So we're moving all of this into the guest bedroom.
Oh, there's another bedroom? Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I got some rooms at my house.
What I really want to get is a futon. And maybe this table may not last to the move. We may have to get a new one if we're in a different location.
Moving into the other room?
Yeah, just because this is like so long. It already, like the way it fits in here, I'm gonna have to do some organizing or something. I need to clean the whole fucking room up. But yeah, but anyways, this is called the nursery.
Okay.
We will. I'm gonna have to like paint stuff.
Still call it the juice box because you can be like,
there you go.
Yeah.
I wonder if, if I'm still doing this as like my kid gets older, like if I'm gonna have them come on and talk on the microphone
like they do on Smugcast.
Yeah.
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 I'm interested. I'm also interested to see how much I embarrass my kids when they listen to this in the future.
Yeah, I haven't had the enjoyment of embarrassing my child yet because she doesn't give a shit about anything. She thinks everything's hilarious and everything I do is funny. And I should really.
You probably like that though.
I do. I enjoy it. It's fun having someone that thinks you're hilarious and like she'll just go, "Dad," and I'll go, "What?" She'll go, "Farts." And just like stuff like, and I'll laugh out like that's funny to me because she knows me and her can just be like boogers and farts and just talk about things that are just ridiculous and it's fun to. That's awesome. Yeah, and you have like she'll just go. I have that to look forward to. Or you have that to look forward to.
Yeah, I need to learn my job over here, don't I?
You're just over there pressing random buttons like.
But yeah, I'm interested to see, it's what I've told people before. Jen and I, it seems like everything that we ever want is kind of a difficult process. Yeah, almost every time.
But like I applaud you for doing it. Well, not that like society tells you the way you should. Like you got to go to school and then you got to get married, and I'm over here like kid, school, like marriage. That's I'm doing it completely backwards. And I mean, I guess I do applaud you for like, I have friends and I'm a little bit jealous of the way that they've like planned out the specific moves that they were going to make in their life. But I also look back and think like everybody's life is different. Everybody has their own path they take there was plenty of opportunities. I could have Jesus Christ, I could have in 2006. So I could have a 12-year-old kid right now. Yeah.
Because there was a scare that that ended up in a miscarriage when I was 18. So
that's insane.
I could have a 12-year-old child right now.
That would be crazy.
Wouldn't that be weird?
Yeah.
My life would be completely different, I guarantee.
That's what I'm saying. And like that's kind of what I was going at with the different path thing. Like if I didn't do all the things that I've done, I wouldn't have like like the daughter I have and the girlfriend I have and like all these different things that I really enjoy having.
It's just one of the craziest things to think about. Like I still think about that. And then also like I've talked about it on the podcast before. I don't know if I've like really talked to you about it, but I've I'm trying to get in contact or figure out, who my dad is. Like I know his name, but I never met him.
Do you know what he looks like?
A picture from like high school that my mom showed me. So like not really.
Does he look like you?
He doesn't look like me at all.
You look like your mom.
I look way more like my mom than I do. What's really weird is I look a lot like my former stepdad. Like I actually get like I have some features of his, which is weird because he's not my biological father. And it's just interesting. But
that is interesting.
But yeah, like I'm because I'm kind of going through like a hypochondriac style, like just every time I feel like anything hurts, I feel like I'm like got cancer or something right now. Yeah. I don't know what my deal is, but my mom.
You know what we should do together and then talk about the results on here is like do like Ancestry.com.
Yeah, I want to do 23andMe where it's like it shows it's literally like your DNA, like where you're from.
Yeah, I would be into us both doing that and then talking about like where we're from.
Yeah, it's like I want to say it's like $80 or something like that. So, the only reason there's a lot of things that I haven't done yet this year, money wise, is because we're putting in a porch. But no, like I said, when it comes to the dad thing, like I really want to know how he thinks or like what he thinks about, because my thought process is like he knows I exist, but has never ever tried to have any kind of contact with me. I mean, he's had a kid for 30, almost 31 years now, and no contact. Do you think I wonder, does he actually like think or wonder what I'm doing with my life, or does he even care, or is it something that he doesn't even think about?
Probably. It's just weird to me because I like could never imagine not being in my daughter's life. So for him to make that decision at some point that he just wasn't going to be around is like fucking.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I was like, a dumbass like young kid like he was when he had a kid, I probably could have done the bail move. I mean, if I was 18 or something like that, I probably just thinking that of
But it's
how
like
thinking of how I thought back then.
Yeah, but it's so
I
like
feel like I would have
even
maybe
as
taken that
selfish
move.
as I think that you can be. I'm not saying that I think you're extremely, but you can. Everyone can be
Yeah.
selfish.
Oh, yeah.
I think that if you had a kid at a young age, you would not bail on that kid, and or
Yeah, I think that's mainly because I don't know my dad though.
yeah, but like it just you have to be so selfish to like completely like you don't realize how much you're ruining someone's life. Not ruining it, but affecting it.
Yeah.
and kind of in mostly a negative way, but by just bailing as a parent and or giving that responsibility to another person. So you went from co-parenting to like giving that all that being selfish enough to let one other person raise your child and not be in that kid's life all at the same time. Right. This is like super selfish, and whether he didn't realize it at the time or he's had plenty of time to think about it, and it's just one of those things where like I don't know, it's shitty.
It's weird. But what's crazy, what stuck with me, I want to give a shout out to Brandon Denny, the one who put in the light. He works for he works for an electric company, Kinder Electric, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's in Greenfield. But he put the light in, but it also like it's on this train of thought that we're talking. Something stuck with me a lot is he has a boy that he had recently. I'm not sure.
A boy.
I'm not sure how old the child is, but I just know that it stuck with me when he said like it's not about me anymore. He was like, it's really weird how I thought that when I had my kid, nothing was going to change really in my mind because he was like, I feel very confident that I like think a certain way, but he was like, nope. As soon as I had that kid, it's all about them.
It's you stop thinking about things that are going to affect you and instead how they're going to affect them. Mm-hmm. I don't make decisions in my life because of how I have to think about more than one person.
Yeah.
And it's strange to put someone, it's probably the first time in my life that I've fully put someone ahead of myself. Mm-hmm. Even if it's been like, me and Nicole, I love her or whatever, but I probably still don't, put her in front of me as much as I see her as like an equal side by side type thing, but my kid I put above everything. You make every decision based on that person's life, and to think that you're just molding someone's you're turning them into the person that they're going to be when they're older.
Yeah, and I just wanted to give him a shout out because he did that light in like I said, he did that light in like an hour, and it was That's like impressive. He cut a hole in the ceiling. He put new switches up for me. So, like I said, if you need any electrical work done, call Brandon Denny at Kinder Electric.
Hardcore bounce between having children and this guy's a good electrician.
Well, like I said, it made me think of what he said when we were sitting here chatting while he was putting the light in, which is, it just stuck with me that he was like, it's about my son. Like, and it was just a weird, like he said, like I said, just how it just kind of goes down.
Well, based on him putting in this light for you and doing the switches and all that, and just saying this stuff about his son, he sounds like a good guy.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
he's been on the podcast before. He was the life coach that I've had that just makes fun. Like he used to make funny Snapchat videos where he'd be like, "Life coach," and he would just like make fun of people or something like that. And it was good. It was a good little bit he had going for a while. He hasn't done it in a long time though. He needs to bring it back
for sure.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of like the extent of my past week for you guys. Like basically because we kind of talked about basically everything that's happened this whole week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for my week I spent being sick, going to school.
Yeah, like you were talking about having a lot of energy. So what's the deal with? Are you talking about? Do you have a lot of energy because you're not sick anymore?
Yeah, I think you just it gives you perspective because when you're sick, you're like, man, I feel like shit right now, and I would give anything to feel good. And then when you start feeling good again, you're like, man, I want to do this, I want to do that, because you don't feel the way that you did. Mm-hmm. Because I went through school, twice this week, feeling like crap, and like when I had all this like achiness and congestion and stuff, and that stuff went away about halfway through the week, and then I had stomach stuff going on that stuck with me all the way up until like about a day ago, honestly, and it just was like stuff in my stomach was just, I'll keep it light for those. I don't want to be too graphic, but things were just not moving through the old digestive system like they should. And I was like, felt like I had a baseball in my stomach at one point.
Yeah.
So, but I'm 100.
If you remember Hustle and Flow, which song did you like better? Did you like Hard Out Here for a Pimp, or did you like Whoop That Trick?
I think we should do Hard Out Here for a Pimp.
Yeah. But I think Jen needs to see that film. I'm going to check on Netflix and Amazon to make sure that
So she was not impressed by just the song. So.
She actually, like, I don't know if she was just in Jen mode where, like, when she's drinking and she's just like, everything sucks that I ever think is good.
Yeah.
Because she does have like a few stages of being intoxicated that, like, nothing I say is going to make her happy. Like, she's just going to like disagree with everything I say. There's that stage. There's also there's stages where she loves everything about me and she thinks I'm the coolest person in the world. I like that stage. I try to keep her at that stage.
Yeah.
And then there's the stage where she just doesn't make any sense, like, at all, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But the thing is usually when she gets to that stage, I'm also at that stage. So.
Yeah. I think we should definitely plan something where you guys come over to our house, or we come and we do like we drink and get, you know.
This is another thing that I've thought about with the podcast. I wish I would have started doing this earlier in my life, because what I want to do with that Mevo camera and the live videos is I want to do.
Dude, we're not going to do a sex cam.
No, what I want to do is a Friday night power hour. Like,
that would be fun, yeah.
Have the live videos so people can like talk
to us and stuff, yeah.
And like even the fans can like pick this, like, the genre of power hour that we're doing, because they have Disney power hour, they have 80s power hour, they have 2000s power hour, like tons of different categories of music they do power hour.
Dude, I have that big room in the front area and my garage that we could like set up like beer pong, and
maybe instead of doing it like every Friday, we just plan a Friday that we do it for the live.
Yeah, well, I have to plan it because I work Friday nights.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
Yeah,
we can do it a different night,
but we'll figure it out.
Because a power hour, like I said, a power hour doesn't really get you that drunk.
Not if you're doing shots of beer, right? That's what you.
Because I think you end up drinking I think it's like 6 beers or something like that.
Still a lot.
That's not that much.
No.
I mean,
that's old me arguing with young me, trying to decide whether that's a lot of beer.
Yeah, and man, even like with the lights in here, like, I don't know. This was just like this was a standard Juice in the Morning episode, because I'm like sweating over here.
Feel good.
I'm like hot. That's because I drank too much last night.
I'm just so glad I'm not sick right now that I just am like,
you're just pumped. You're ready to go.
Ecstatic to do anything.
I love not sick Shane, and sick Shane wasn't bad either.
Whatever.
You're just quiet more.
Yeah, I just felt
because you couldn't talk. I understand.
Yeah,
that.
My voice at the end of the podcast was going out. I also felt like straight shit, but I'm one of those people that like I do stuff, you know, that I say I'm going to do.
Yeah, and like that's what I was like. I was impressed that you made it out.
But the podcast might have been a little better if I just didn't come that day, because you had plenty of people in here and it would have went fine. But I just felt like I was not obligated.
And we didn't have Ryan today because Ryan is enjoying Easter with his family like a normal human being.
I'm just picturing him like with a basket trying to find eggs.
He's probably got like the bunny ears on his head, and he's like, you know.
Yeah, he just like, I'm just picturing him like loving Easter, like wearing a really pastel.
We'll have to ask him next week.
Wearing a button-up pastel shirt with some like green khaki.
For sure.
Yeah, just weird.
We're going to have to ask him next week how.
He's definitely got
parents can be such.
Christ.
I had it turned down. Man, I suck.
You do suck.
Sorry. It's multiple mistakes today.
That's okay.
But
also, before we go, I want to say happy birthday to my mother.
Nice.
Bobby, Babette, mother. My actual name is Babette, which is kind of strange.
I'm gonna have to meet her someday.
She's great. Taught me everything I know, most things I know. Happy birthday to her. This is the second time in her life, I guess, since she was born, that her birthday has fallen on Easter. So it happened the day she was born, and then it also happened today, which is also April Fool's Day. If anyone's, Easter's kind of, gonna take over the April Fool's vibe, but I used to stick the Band-Aid on the hose of the sink and spray my dad every single April Fool's, and he would never remember that I was gonna do it. Anyways, and he'd be like, "God damn it!"
That's hilarious.
But anyways, happy birthday, Mom! I hope you have a wonderful day, and we're gonna hang out tomorrow and have some drinks and hang out.
That's awesome. Yeah. This is one of the first Easters that I don't think I've actually spent with my family. My mom's in Florida with my little brother and sister. But is it just me, or is Easter early this year? Like, I mean, it's the first. Is it the first Sunday in April? Is that why it's?
I don't.
Is that when Easter is?
Dude. I don't know anything about anything, especially holidays. When you remember that one time when you were like, March March whatever. And I was like, what's that? And you're like, St. Patty's Day, and I'm like,
March 17th.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
just know it because it's one of my favorite holidays.
Yeah, you say October 31st.
There you go, Halloween right
I'm
there,
all
buddy.
about some Halloween, but
Oh, I want to go as Terrence Howard for Halloween.
dude, if we do the Halloween thing against, this made me realize what you said. I was like, what? Don't do blackface. We need to do something. Dress up as like me, maybe us four. Like
what I've really wanted to do for a long time is Archer.
Yeah,
and like do the group like in Jen could be Lana Kane.
I just don't like Archer that much. I like Archer, just not enough to dress up as Halloween.
I like it.
I want to be like a superhero squad, but I can never get people to do that with me.
I've been Captain America before.
So have I.
Yeah, you have too. I forgot about that. We'd have to fight over that.
I was World War II Captain America.
So was I.
What?
Yeah.
I saw you just had a mask on.
No, I had the jacket and everything too. I just wasn't wearing
like a leather jacket and a war helmet.
I didn't have the helmet because I couldn't find one.
I had an actual shield, like the big shield.
I have the shield somewhere in here. It might be in that closet. It's plastic, but
my girlfriend at the time took an old War.
Yours is vibranium, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the actual. I dug it from the earth. I mined it.
You went to Wakanda?
Well, I think there's some other places on the earth. I got mine from like.
I mean, vibranium is only in Wakanda.
Oh, okay.
In the comics and in the movies.
I mean, as far as
I'm just giving. I mean, I don't know. There have been people have stolen it from there and taken it somewhere else.
But do they know where all of it is?
Yeah, there's like a meteor that hit right there, and that's the story.
Well, the way I see it, the meteor hit, and then it's like one little chunk.
Chunks just go everywhere.
Went over to Canada, and I got it from Canada. Anyways, we're getting off track.
You and Wolverine.
Yep.
In Canada.
Yep. Vibranium. He's made of adamantium.
Adamantium.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't even know.
I know. Which one's stronger? Let's test that. I bet there's a.
I guarantee you, there's something on the internet about that.
I know for sure. I would say my guess is going to be adamantium.
Is adamantium?
I guarantee you're not going to spell it right.
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, sure for sure. Yeah. And vibranium. That's easy to spell.
I didn't spell it right, but that's okay. Vibranium steel alloy that Captain America's shield is made of is stronger than adamantium. Adamantium was a result of Dr. McClane trying to replicate the shield's alloy.
So which one's stronger?
The shield.
Stronger than adamantium? Mm-hmm. So if
because the adamantium,
so if Wolverine tried to hit him, it would break his.
It just shows in this like little cutscene right here, or this little picture, that his claws just bounce off the shield. But yeah, I think I want to just, like I said, give a shout out to the people that have been a part of the podcast. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Do you have anything else for the rest of the evening?
Nope.
Because this is Juice in the Morning.
Yep. No, I don't have anything else to talk about.
We're good.
Yep.
So we want to
the punchline. How about you do it this time?
All right. So let's do it at the same time.
I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and hopefully the juice was worth the squeeze. That could have been gayer.
I left that in there too.